Hello, my name is Akilah with the St. Johns County Public Library System, and I want to welcome you to another at-home edition of Vegetarian Ways, where today we're going to be making my famous spicy buffalo cauliflower wings with a side of caramelized veggies over a bed of kale. It's going to be so good. So let's see what we have for our ingredients today. Today we're going to be using, we're going to be using cauliflower, of course. We're going to be using some fantastic red and yellow onion. We're going to be using a handful of wax yellow beans as well as some organic green beans right from the garden outside my door, as well as some Brussels sprouts, not from my door, but they are organic outside my door. And then we're going to be using a nice candied beet. And here is our beautiful organic kale that we have a nice variety of. We're using some red leaf kale as well as your traditional green curly leaf kale, and we even have some fantastic dino kale here. So we're going to have a nice mixed bed of that. And as for our spices today, we're going to be using some black pepper, some ground curry, some ground turmeric, one of my favorite spices, some ground garlic, another one of my favorite spices, cayenne pepper, definitely another favorite. I have so many favorites. Some Himalayan, no wait, we've got the Hawaiian style black lava salt. Yep. And then we have the Himalayan pink salt. That's all tongue-tied there. Then we have our hatch green chili powdered, as well as our hatch green chili in flakes that we'll be using. We're also going to be using some regular breadcrumbs in addition to panko breadcrumbs, as well as a little bit of hemp seed, good protein source there. And then we're going to be using some extra virgin olive oil, as well as some grapeseed oil today. So we're going to be using all of those fantastic ingredients, and I'm going to go ahead, get my apron on, and we're going to get started. Hi, so I've got my apron on and I'm ready to get started. I did go ahead and do a little prep work to get us moving a little bit quicker. I've already fluoridated up the cauliflower, because you got to fluoride up your cauliflower so that you can bake it accordingly. And I have done some small pieces and some large pieces. So you want to have a little bit of variety in size, so they're not all the same size. It's kind of nice to not have all the same size. So some really nice big pieces, like a few little small pieces, medium sized kind of pieces. Because I like to have some that are like nice and juicy, and then I like to get ones that are kind of look crispy every now and then too. So I like to vary in my sizes. But if you like to have yours all uniformly exact same size, totally up to you. You do you. But that's how I like to do mine. So all my cauliflower is fluoridated up already, and we're going to go ahead and get the flour. I did forget to get that out earlier and show you guys that, but we need the flour to pre-bread. I am using some all-purpose organic flour here, all-purpose organic flour, and we just need, let me make sure I grab my recipe card, that way I don't forget anything. That's important, not to forget anything. Alright, here we go. We're going to get started. I'll make sure that I send that along with everything, that way you guys have the recipe as well. So, we need 1 cup. I'm using my dry, flat measuring cup. 1 cup of flour. 1 and 2 tablespoons. Have my tablespoon. Purple! Yay, purple! 1 and 2 in the bowl. Flour, check. Now I'm going to take the rest of my dry ingredients, which are my slices of pepper, pink Himalayan salt, Hawaiian style black lava salt, my cayenne pepper, my powdered green chili, and I'm going to go ahead and start measuring all that stuff out. So I have 1 teaspoon and that is of my pink Himalayan salt. So if you guys notice, I have kind of this brown cover top, which whenever I'm making a recipe or even when I'm baking at home, and I'm going to make a lot of mess, I like to use a disposable countertop cover. That way it folds it nice and easy at the end and I don't have to be wiping the counter several times. But you don't have to do that. I just like to use that every now and then when I'm making kind of a messy thing. So we got 1 teaspoon of the pink Himalayan salt going right on into the flour. We're using 1 teaspoon of the black lava salt. That's going right into the flour. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of the freshly ground black pepper. I already ground my black pepper. And measure that out. 1 teaspoon, just 1. And I actually also need a 1/2 teaspoon. So taking another 1/2 of the black pepper, 1 1/2, right on into the bowl. And then we need, after that, our cayenne pepper. Pop that top off. Hope you guys are having a good day at home. And we just need a 1/2 teaspoon of our cayenne pepper. Nice and spicy. 1/2 teaspoon of the cayenne pepper. And we also have a 1/2 teaspoon of our ground green chili. Goes down up. Get into that green chili. Measure out a 1/2 teaspoon. I kind of like it to be a heaping 1/2 teaspoon. I love green chili. So good, so delicious. Oh, it's spicy. So I take a small whisk, and I go ahead and just mix up all of my dry ingredients here in the flour. And my flour dry ingredients. Get that all stirred up. Nice. Oh, this chili's. Woo. Get in the noses. Oh my. Yeah, that's going to be nice and spicy. Good deal. All right, moving on. Next step, we're going to go ahead and leave that there, or put it to our side. And we are going to go ahead and do our next dry ingredient, which is the breadcrumbs. And we're going to take 2 cups and then another 3/4 cups of the panko breadcrumbs. Bring that up, a nice fresh pan. So we're going to use our dry cup. We've got 1 cup, 2 cups, almost 2, there we go. And then we need 3/4, so I'm using my 3/4 cup here, and my 4th cup, and we just measure that out 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to take a 1/2 cup of our regular breadcrumbs. Since I have out my 4th cup, I do have my 1/2 cup here. 1/2 cup of our plain breadcrumbs. Dump that right on in. Good deal. And we also need 2 tablespoons. So I grab my tablespoon measure, yay purple, of our hemp seeds. This is going right on into the breadcrumbs. Measuring out 1 and 2. Oh, we're almost out! I have to go get some more. So since it's almost out, I'm going to just go ahead and dump in the whole rest of that bag, because it's gone. Dang. Alright. Gotta go get some more of those. Here we go. That gives a nice protein addition, a nice little added protein. Then we're going to add in our 1 full teaspoon of the green chili flakes. Nice heaping teaspoon of those green chili flakes right on into breadcrumbs, panko and seasoned. All right, then we are going to, last but not least, going into our breadcrumb mixture here is going to be some nutritional dry yeast, some nice B12, so good for you. So we're going to take 1 full teaspoon, gives it a nice little mildly cheesy taste, in addition to the Romano cheese that of course is in there. But that Romano cheese doesn't have B12. So here we go. We're going to take that whisk again, and we're just going to mix all the rest of those spices into our breadcrumbs. Making a tiny bit of a mess there if you guys can hear it. All right, all mixed up. Looking good. Now we need our wet dip. So I am going to measure out, take my liquid measuring cup, and we're going to measure out. I'm using a coconut almond milk blend. You can use cashew milk, you can use any milk blend. And we're going to measure out a full cup. Full cup. And 1 more fourth. So I'm going to make sure I get eye level here. 1/4 cup. 1 1/4. Right on in. Good job. All right, we've got that all closed up there. I'm going to stick my milk back in the fridge real quick. Be right back. Takes 2 seconds. Stays nice and cold. We're good. All right, so we are ready to bread the cauliflower and get that going. First things first, we got to go ahead and put the oven to 375. 375. That way it's preheating and ready to go. I've already taken my large baking pan, sheet pan here, nice and big, and lined it with parchment paper. That way it's a nice, another easy, quick cleanup. And that's ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and get our little assembly line going here. Gonna push all these ingredients to the back. Salt out of the way, pepper, measuring utensils, everything out of the way. Hope you guys are having a good day at home here. All right, so we're gonna need to first wet dip. So that's gonna be our milk. It's gonna go first, right next to the cauliflower here. Then we're going to take our flour. That's going to be next. Now I like to do a double dip or a double tap, and that means going back into the milk after I've done my flour. And then going back into my breadcrumbs. So we are going to get ready to knock out these cauliflower florets here, turning them into the buffalo wings. So we're going to take several pieces of our cauliflower and we're going to just plop them right on into the milk. Yep, swirl your hands around in there. Get them nice and wet, give them like about 30 seconds or so in the milk. And then you're going to take them, I do one at a time, and you're going to drop it in your flour. You're going to roll it around real good in your flour. You're going to take it back out, dip it back in your milk, get it moist again using those fingers, and then you're going to drop it right on into your breadcrumb mixture here. Making sure to thoroughly roll it all in the breadcrumbs like so. All right. It's going to look like this, nice and pretty, all breadcrumbed up, ready to go in the oven, well, on the pan. So we're going to start lining our pan here. Going to get another piece going. So we're dipping in our flour after we've dipped in the milk, rolling it around real good, being really thorough, making sure you get all the spaces. Don't be lazy, get all those spaces. Then dip your cauliflower wing back into the milk and then go ahead and bread it in your breadcrumbs. And I like to take my hands and even throw some on top here and then keep rolling around just a little bit. Make sure I didn't miss any pieces. I like to be super thorough because the more thorough you are in coating your cauliflower wing, the more delicious it will be. So we're going to line it up on the pan and we're just going to keep going and get a bunch of these done. So I'm going to finish these up and we'll be right back. So we are done doing all the cauliflower, breaded, all that good stuff. It looks amazing and fantastic. I just want to show you real quick how easy it is to pull up the disposable counter cover. So you just pop it up right off of your counter, and it's a nice little easy stick. See, it's got little dots so it can stick to your counter real quick and easy, and it pops up real fast. That way you can just roll up your mess. It's a little loud. You can just roll up your mess. Ta-da! And your counter's still all nice and clean because you already wiped it off before you got started. So these are fantastic. I'm going to just throw that away in my little trash bag. And the other really awesome thing is that if you need to make any adjustments to your recipe as you go along, like I totally did, you just can write it right down because it's made out of paper. And then I will make this adjustment onto my recipe card before I email it to you guys. So we'll attach it. So how awesome is that? And we're going to go ahead and get these in the oven. But first, I need to lightly coat them with olive oil. So we're going to just open up our olive oil bottle. Oh, and here are the tiny little guys, a bunch of little ones. And I have another full pan over on the other counter. So we're going to go ahead and gently just drizzle the olive oil right on top of the cauliflower. It's nice and gentle. Drizzle it along. And we're going to finish this off. Drizzle here and there. Finish drizzling. Drizzle here, there. Almost finished. And we're just going to finish drizzling off. And almost there. There's so many of them. They're so big. They're so beautiful. They're so exciting and awesome. And we're going to close that off. They're all drizzled, set, good to go. So we're going to stick this in the oven on our middle. Make sure that rack is right in the middle. And we're going to stick that right on in the oven. Now, we're going to set our timer for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Setting my timer for 10 minutes, I think. Yep, 10 minutes. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it? 10. Anyway, 10 minutes I'm setting it for, and I'm going to hit start. That way it's going. So it's going to be 20 minutes, so 10 minutes, and then I'm going to take my tongs, my handy dandy tongs, and I'm going to flip them over. That way they get a good browning on both sides. I like mine nice and crispy. So they're in there. While those are in there, we're going to go ahead and work on our nice caramelized veggies. So I already have everything all prepped, sliced and diced over here. We have our rainbow or candied beets. I like to say rainbow because they're so pretty. And then we have our handful, and it's literally a handful. Check it out, a total handful of our wax yellow beans, and then a good handful of our green beans. And then we have those 7 Brussels sprouts sliced, nice and relatively thin, like that. And then we have sliced and then halved our onions. Harder to see the white onions, of course. And then we have just halved the red onion and then just sliced it. So we have bigger ones, so there's a little bit of different size. And if you guys have noticed, we've used lots of different colors today. So we're eating a rainbow of colors. It's so important as vegetarians, as you know, to eat a rainbow of colors. So we're going to go ahead, and this is already, my grapeseed oil is already heated up here in the skillet. And we're going to go ahead and throw in our first veggies, which is the beets, because they take the longest to cook. This is a little hot, so we're going to turn that down. And you're going to use this to make sure that you don't pop anything on yourself, all right? We're going to pour those right on in. Awesome. Shake those up a little bit. All right, not too hot, so we're just going to set them aside. Got my spatula here, and we're going to stir up these vegetables. These beautiful candy beets. They just look so gorgeous. And I have a 5-minute rule for this dish. So you put in your hardest vegetable first. That is going to be our beets today. So 5 minutes after those have been cooking in the pan, we're going to throw in our second hardest vegetable, which is our Brussels sprouts. And at the same time, I'm going to throw in my white onions. So those are going to go in 5 minutes. 5 minutes after those have been in, we're going to throw in our green beans, and then 5 minutes after, and our yellow wax beans, and after those go in, 5 minutes after that, our red onion is going to go in last, and then we're going to keep stirring. Now, the seasonings that we're going to be using for these, garlic is going in here first, and we are going to actually measure this out. I personally like to do everything by sprinkle, but I know that I'm giving you guys this recipe, so we are going to measure out a half a teaspoon of our garlic. Looking so pretty. So we're going to sprinkle in our garlic right onto those beets. There you go. And we're going to stir around that garlic. Oh, I love the smell of garlic cooking. It's so amazing. It's just, fantastic. We're going to stir that on in there. And let's see. Should have kept that timer in my pocket. Give me 1 second. Just grabbing that timer. So we have about 1 more minute before I add in the next, maybe about 2 more minutes before I add in the next one. I'm going to go ahead and put my lid back on the pan. That way it starts cooking a little bit quicker all together. Okay, I'm going to set this bowl aside. Hope you guys are having a good time. I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's going to be so amazing. Now, one other little thing while that's cooking along there, I wanted to throw at you guys. I'm sure most of you already know, but for those of you who don't know, if you've had your greens out and some things took a little bit longer than others and your greens start to wilt, then all you have to do is give them a nice cold ice bath. So you fill up the bowl that they're in I used a ceramic bowl, so you fill it up with cold water, and then you're going to throw some ice cubes straight on into the bowl. And then no more wilted greens. They're perfectly crisp, back to life, beautiful, no more wilted greens. I know you guys can see this at home. They're like perfectly crisp and alive again. So those awesome little ice baths just revive the greens, and they're just super vibrant again because they all soak back in. It's like, yay, we're happy again. So those greens are all ready to go. Now it's definitely been our 5 minutes on those beets, because you see their ultimate cooking time is going to be that 20 minutes. So here we go. Beets are looking good. Now we're going to throw in our Brussels sprouts. Make sure we get every single one of those Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts are in. Excellent. Oh, almost forgot one other thing. Do always put in ginger. I love ginger. And oh, that's right. We are doing it measured, and we're doing everything in a half measurement here. That's a little spicy. So a half teaspoon of our ginger going right on top of those Brussels sprouts. And we're going to let that cook for 5 minutes. And no, I did not forget that our onions are also going in at this time. The white onions going in now. Looking good. White onions in. Alright. Downsizing those bowls. Downsizing those bowls. Okay, so we got our white onion in. We've got our Brussels sprouts in. The beets are looking amazing. We've used our ginger. We've used our garlic. There's a lid. There's a lid. I like to always keep everything lidded and closed up as I'm going. There we go. Top back on. Sitting my garlic aside. Rapeseed oil is done. Those are all finished. Okay, so we've got our curry and our turmeric. And then we also have our black pepper and our pink Himalayan and our black lava Hawaiian salt. So those are the last of our things that are going in here. So we're tossing this about a little bit. So right now we're going to do the black lava salt. And we're going to take a few pinches. This one not measuring out, but we're literally going to pinch with our fingers. Pinch. I'm taking my pointer finger, my middle finger, and my thumb. And then you're going to sprinkle that right onto your Brussels sprouts, rainbow beets, and your onion. And we're going to do 3 of them. That was 1. That's 2. That's a glorious 3. Perfect. We're all done with that spice. We're sitting that to the back. And we're going to go ahead and give a stir. Toss that about. Looking gorgeous. And we're going to throw our lid back on. Lid going right back on there. Now, let's see. Let's check our timer. See how we're doing on time. And we've got 1 minute 12 seconds before we go ahead and turn the cauliflower over. I bet it's doing amazing and fantastic. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure of it. So we're going to go ahead and get our next item ready to go in here in just a moment. And next up we have our curry. So here we go. We're going to take our handful of our wax yellow beans. Let's stir this up first a little bit. Wow, it looks so delicious. Oh my goodness. I just can't wait. Alright, we're going to give that a hot another little second because our timer is almost there. And yep, it's on 17 seconds. So, since we are going to, it's not going to take more than 5 minutes, we're going to take our yellow wax beans. We're going to sprinkle those right on in. Alright, we're going to take our curry. Our curry, we are only needing a 1/4 teaspoon of. So we're going to take a 1/4 teaspoon of our curry. And a real light one. Doesn't have to be a heavy 1/4, just a real light one. And we're going to sprinkle that right on top of the yellow wax beans. And we're going to just stir that right on in. That smells phenomenal. Phenomenal. Alright. That's all stirred in there. I'm going to relid that. And I think that we're probably, yep, right on time. So let's go ahead and check on our cauliflower in the oven real quick. Pull that back, that way you guys can see. Pull this open. Yep. Beautiful. Looking flawless. So we're going to take our handy dandy tongs here and we're just going to flip these all over. They're looking beautifully browned here. Oh boy. Oh my gosh, they're just beautiful. Oh my goodness. I don't know that you guys can see this, I don't think so, but I'm tossing these, I'm turning these all over real quick. Turning them all over so that they can get browned up here on the other side. Tossing them all over real quick. Fantastic. Oh, they all look so amazing. I'm going to show you guys what they look like in just a second here. Finish getting these turned over. And wow, pretty hot. Like a little mini sauna. You know? That's okay. We're almost there. Wow, these are gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Yeah, super hot. This is fantastic. These are going to get another 10 minutes in the oven. Oh, got one. Got one. Oh boy. Nice and toasty. Alright. One more to go. Almost there. Woo! Oh my goodness. Alright. That just took a hot second, but here we go. They're looking beautiful. They're going to go back in the oven to get that other side nice and golden brown. We're sticking that back in. Woo! Pretty toasty up in there. Alright. We're going to finish up these veggies. Here we go. So, opening a lid on that. Oh wow. They smell phenomenal. Give that a nice another little stir there. We're going to throw in our second handful of those green beans right on in the pan. Place in these bowls. And this time we're going to take our turmeric and we're going to pop on in there a 4th teaspoon of turmeric. Don't be afraid of your spices. Delicious. Delicious, delicious. Alright, wait, nope, wrong one. Wrong one. The screw top went on the turmeric. So, putting the right cap back on there. We've done that. Alright, so I just threw in the onions. Might have missed that little section. Cut out on me, but we're okay. So I just threw in the onions, and I was just mentioning that we are going to actually go the salt and the pepper you're going to do by taste. So it's totally your preference. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on. I've already pre-ground quite a little bit here, so I'm going to just sprinkle it right across the top, a nice little even coat. And for me, that's good. That's probably about roughly a teaspoon. And then I'm going to be using the Himalayan salt, sprinkling that across. For me, that's actually only about just under probably a half a teaspoon on that salt. So we're good for that. From there, we're going to go ahead and give this a nice last good stir to mix all the rest of the seasonings in, just so. It's looking beautiful. It's looking perfect. Excellent. Fantastic. And my lid is going on. Let's check our timer, shall we, and see where we are. We are at 3 minutes. So very exciting. So, since we're 3 minutes out, I'm going to go ahead and grab my plate. Got my plate. I got my plate, because I'm going to eat some and it's going to be so good. And I've got my silverware, well, my gold flatware, just kidding. And I have got a little glass, because I'm going to have something in my glass. And the finisher of our veggies is actually honey, a dazzle pepper honey. You can use regular honey if you're done with spices, that's totally cool. But this is just to drizzle on top to finish off. So, since we're almost ready, I'm going to go ahead and get my greens, my mixed kale. I've got my regular curly, remember, I have my dino kale, I've got the purple kale, and I'm going to just grab a good handful of what sounds delicious or looks perfectly delicious for my plate. Since I'm just going to build a single plate, I'm going to shake the excess water off. Got my different handful, and I'm going to just hand tear this onto my plate, just like so, just in the same sizes that you would when you are, if you were going to cut it into kind of like decent sized chunks. Alright, so I'm breaking this up and tearing it onto my plate. Instead of cutting it, I'm just finger breaking it right onto my plate, old school style, because why not? And That's all good. A little in there, get rid of that piece. Now what I pre-did, another thing I pre-did was I kind of shaved the legs of my kale. So you know how, here's a piece, a smaller piece, but on the baby pieces, I like to hold on to the legs, if you will. So when I call it shaving the legs, is I kind of pinch off the pieces off of the end tail there, and then when it's up to where it's nice and full, the leaf, that's where I pinch it off and I take that piece off. Gonna keep that little green piece, but I get rid of that stem. Only on the big pieces. I like to keep the baby pieces because they're still tender, but on the big pieces, if I'm doing it kind of as a bed or a salad, it's a little tougher for me personally, and I'm not trying to do all that work chewing. So that's how you do, you kind of shave the legs. But if you want to keep them, if you want to keep that hair on the legs of your kale, you can do that. That's totally cool. So I have myself a nice beautiful bed prepared for my awesome vegetables, which are totally done. Sit that there, totally finished, and perfect. Oh my gosh, they smell flawless. They do, they smell flawless. So those are ready. I actually want them to be warming up on the kale a little bit, getting it a little wilted. So I'm going to put those directly onto the kale there, directly onto the kale. Oh my gosh, it looks awesome! Spin a little bit, but that's okay. That's all right. So that's all finished. And get that a little bit because it's a clean counter. And I'm going to just scoop that right back on. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing. So I'm going to push that over to the side there. Sitting nicely on top of those greens. Stick that right on in. Now, I'm going to need a little bit, a small container for my sauce. So, let's see here. I'm going to use, oh, that's kind of not what I want. Oh, here we go. This is perfect. So, I want something to dip my sauce in. You've all got little containers you can use, even a little shot glass will work for using your dressing in. I've tried several different dressings, but a vegan ranch dressing really is the best. Even better than barbecue sauce, but if you want to dip your cauliflower in barbecue sauce, you can too. So I've got my little saucer, and I stick that on my plate. So it's getting ready, and let's check our time. Yep, it's time. So let's go ahead and check our cauliflower. It should be good to go. And it is! Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. Here we go. So hot, so hot. Rotate that pan, move it that way. Sliding it. Oh my gosh. It looks amazing. So our cauliflower is perfectly done in the exact time that it took to get the vegetables done. So I am going to transfer those onto, this is actually an oven safe plate. They're great to have around because you can always take stuff off the pan, and then when it goes on to warm mode, then you can just stick the plate right on into the oven. So we have a beautiful, perfectly grilled, crisped buffalo wing. I'm gonna plate these up real quick. Those are just perfect. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Nice, crispy, golden. So I've just finished plating up all of those beautiful, perfectly golden cauliflower wings. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some on my plate here. Where did you get the tongs? Here's the tongs. I'm gonna grab the tongs, throwing a few on my plate. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a good one. 5. On my plate. Fantastic. They came out so beautiful. And I already have my ranch dressing ready to go. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that dazzle pepper honey, and I am going to drizzle it right on top. So come on over, come a little closer, come a little closer. There we go. And I'm going to take a little bit of this dazzle pepper honey, and I'm going to go ahead and just drizzle with my teaspoon. A little bit of that dazzle pepper honey. 1 teaspoon will do. And I'm just going to drizzle it right on top. with those veggies. Just drizzle it right on top. Nice and easy, just drizzle it. Just 1 teaspoon. Alright, and then you're going to go ahead and close that off. And I've filled my ranch cup, like I said already. I already have my vegan ranch dressing. It is a high omega vegan ranch dressing that you can get by Follow Your Heart. It's at Publix, or I will add a recipe that you can make your own. I just was taking a shortcut today. So, really good, yummy, yummy. I'm gonna go ahead and have a root beer because that's safe to have on this little video. I'm gonna crack that open. And who says you can't put a nice root beer in a fun glass still? So I'm gonna go ahead and fill up this tasty root beer in a nice little martini glass. And cheers. Let's go ahead and taste this delicious buffalo cauliflower wing. Spicy, spicy buffalo cauliflower wing. Mmm. 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 Mhm. 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 Mmm. Oh my gosh. Flawless, perfect. We're gonna taste these veggies. So good. Like one of those yummy green beans. Mmm. Mmm. Wow. Definitely 2 thumbs up. Mhm. 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 Mm 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 mm. So, thank you again for joining me for another edition of Vegetarian Ways. My name is Miss Akilah, the Southeast Branch Library. Tune in for next time. Have a good one. Bye. So my name is Miss Akilah. This is amazing, delicious, fantastic food. Please go ahead and let me know what you think. If you tried the recipe, you can post it on our Instagram or on our Facebook or YouTube. Post it. Let us know you tried it. Let us know what you think. It's really, really delicious. Enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Bye.